In the book of Exodus chapter 4, a case is told in which Moses was found just before death, and this time by God. The story takes place during Moses' journey to Egypt with Zipporah and his 2 sons, during which Moses faced God who came to kill him. With only 3 verses, this short story has become one of the most puzzling texts in the Bible, and this is the story of Blood Bridegroom. How did it happen that while he was returning to Egypt to save the Israelites, he experienced an event that completely contradicted what he had previously heard from the God? The God who just sent Moses back to Egypt is ready to kill him. At a lodging place on the way, the Lord met Moses and was about to kill him, but Zipporah took a flint knife, cut off her son's foreskin and touched Moses' feet with it. "Surely you are a bridegroom of blood to me." Exodus 4 verses 24 to 26. There would have been mention of it in the Bible if Moses had not circumcised his son based on God's instructions. But that is not the case. Clearly, there is some other symbolic event that we are unaware of. How did Zipporah know that the angel was coming to kill Moses, and how did she know what to do to avoid his death? Verse by verse, these seem almost like riddles. The story is intensified by Zipporah, who takes a flint knife, carries out to circumcise her son, touches Moses' foot, and says over and over again, "Surely you are a bridegroom of blood to me." Zipporah is not one of the Israelite mothers, she is not even considered a prophet or a hero, she has always remained an outsider. But thanks to her, Moses became the leader of the people of Israel. Without her, he would have been dead. Their paths crossed at a time when Moses was at his lowest point. He had just escaped from Egypt, and Pharaoh was chasing him because he had killed an Egyptian man and buried his body. After running as far as Midian, he sat by the well and met Jethro's daughters. He drove out the rioting who were interfering and made sure Jethro's daughters could water the sheep. Jethro heard about the story and immediately invited him to his house and then gave him his daughter Zipporah as a wife. After that, God appears in the burning bush and Moses accepts his mission and decides to return to Egypt. He takes Zipporah and his sons with him. During the journey to Egypt, God attacked him and tried to kill him. But, a moment ago, God assigned Moses a tremendous task, to bring the people of Israel out of Egypt. Why is God trying to kill him on the way to fulfill his mission? The answer to this question is not clear. But one thing is clear, the one who saved the situation is a Zipporah. When Moses is in danger of death, she does not panic and immediately understands what needs to be done. She approaches with determination and circumcises her son. She makes a blood alliance, cuts her son's foreskin, and then God relents and Moses is saved. Her senses returned quickly, Moses almost lost his life and mission. She manages to do the right thing at the right moment. God gives Moses another message through a Zipporah. Leadership involves giving up, and suffering. In places where there will be wounds and dirt, there will also be blood. Many Bible scholars believe that the verses preceding the story of a blood bridegroom in which God tells Moses that he will kill Pharaoh's firstborn son, if Pharaoh does not release the Israelites, Exodus 4 verses 22 to 23. It may provide a clue to resolving this mystery. God demonstrates this by attacking Moses on his way to Egypt, as well as the danger the Israelites are exposed to during the firstborn blow. Moses seemed passive as he journeyed to Egypt that night. What caused him to be so passive? After all, he could have cooperated with Zipporah, just as Jacob took part in his mother's action against Isaac's desire to bless Esau. Moreover, Moses could fight the messenger of God who attacked him, as Jacob fought the angel on his way back to Canaan. There is another mysterious thing at the moment following the words of a Zipporah. It is the identity of the person she turns to. The commentators differ among themselves regarding the identity of blood bridegroom. Some commentators claim that a Zipporah turned to her son. Thus, Zipporah formally refers to her son as circumcised, a person protected by circumcision blood. Another interpretation claims that Zipporah turns to Moses and says to him, "Surely you are a bridegroom of blood to me. This means that, I save your soul from death, and bring you back to life, through the blood of our son." In this act of saving Moses' life, he becomes her husband for a second time, this time a blood bridegroom, a bridegroom who is paid by blood. In the Book of Jubilees, written during the 2nd century BC, it says that it was not God who wanted to kill Moses, but an angel, who is trying to harm Moses' mission, prevent the redemption of Israel, and save them from the Egyptians. This idea, according to which an angel tries to harm Moses, who has returned from a long stay with a foreign nation, reproduces here the structure familiar to us from the story of Jacob, who fights with the angel on his return from Aram. This familiar narrative stood before the eyes of the ancient commentators who had difficulty with the story of a blood bridegroom and helped them explain the surprising and puzzling attack on Moses. The various explanations do provide a reason for the attempt to kill Moses, but they do not explain the surprising proximity to the warning addressed to Pharaoh immediately before. "And I told you, let my son go, so he may worship me. But you refused to let him go, so I will kill your firstborn son." At a lodging place on the way, the Lord met Moses and was about to kill him. Exodus 4 verses 23 to 24. God seems to want to kill Moses' son instead of Pharaoh's son, as if there was a mistake. There is another explanation of the commentators who claim that Moses as a born leader was careless in his duty and did not circumcise his son. Perhaps there is no mistake here, and the words of the mission to Pharaoh were also said to Moses. The story gives a reason for a well-known custom, in Midianite, a language of ancient times and Zipporah language. The meaning of the word bridegroom is circumcision. Other researchers have suggested that the background is the Akkadian word adenu, which means to protect, and blood bridegroom is the one protected by blood. According to that, the foreskin was thrown at the feet of Moses or his son, and the protective blood from the destroyer is also known to us from the commandment on Passover Egypt. As written in Exodus 12 verse 22. Take a bunch of hyssop, dip it into the blood in the basin and put some of the blood on the top and on both sides of the doorframe. None of you shall go out of the door of your house until morning. There is a close meaning to the story, and it gives the circumcision a virtue of protection from the destroyer, similar to the Passover sacrifice. In any case, we have learned that the story points to the virtue of protection inherent in the circumcision, and from this, the closeness of the verses will also become clear to us. The last plague that Moses was sent to perform to Pharaoh is the killing of the firstborn. This plague is demonstrated to Moses when he first hurts him. The Lord met Moses and was about to kill him. The circumcision and the arrival of the blood are used, as mentioned, to save from death, and therefore are revealed, also in this miracle, as the factor that cancels the destructive magical power. There is no chance or casualness in the proximity. By doing this, Moses is able to demonstrate not only the power of miracles, but also the ability to control them. We hope you learned something new today. If you did, give this video a like and share it with your friends. You can share with us what you know by leaving a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative and entertaining content. Thank you so much and see you next time.